that they'll be coming to the floor of the House so that we can be able, to discuss and to ask questions to the cabinet secretaries. Madam Speaker, let me say that the 12th Parliament, I had a lot of challenges because the moment you ask some questions and they are given to the committees and waiting for results or waiting for the response, it took a whole year to get a report in terms of loads within my constituency, in terms of the insecurity within my constituency. But now we are going to support the president's agenda to make sure that the cabinet secretaries will be coming to the floor of the House so that they can be asked questions and so that we can be able to get direct answers to take to our people and the issues affecting the people that we represent. That is a milestone, and we are willing to support the president's agenda. Number two, it was the issue of decriminalizing enterprises. That you realize in my constituency we have so many small and medium enterprises. But for a short time, you normally realize that KLA is not friendly. And that's why I think the president has come into terms that we really need to change Kenya Revenue Authority to Kenya Revenue Services, so that those people need to realize that they don't have to criminalize small enterprises, but come up with modalities and ways for people to pay their taxes and to make sure that it is a friendly service that they are offering to the members of this great republic of ours. Number two, he talked about the Hustlers Fund. Madam Speaker, it is in order for us to say that the Wezo Fund that we have been having, the Women Fund that we have been having, the Youth Fund, it has been of great importance to our people. And I realized that when the Hustlers Fund is introduced, and we are going to make sure that we register and implement the Hustlers Fund, we'll be able to empower millions and billions of hustlers who elected us in this 13th Parliament and who formed the basis of our campaign in 2020, this particular year, so that at least we can have a way to make sure they are empowered. Those mama bogas in my village, those wauzaji wa miwa in my constituency, they'll have an access to credit so that they can be able to better their lives and so that they can be able to put food for their families and to educate their children. So it is very important, and I'll ask the House, when that time comes to support the bill on Hustlers Fund, we all join hands together without caring which kind of political side you come from, so that we do what we are supposed to do and make sure that we better the lives of our people. Number two, Madam Speaker, the President also mentioned about the NGCDF. And he said it categorically. He was a member of Parliament before the CDF, and he was a member of Parliament during the CDF. And he knows the importance of National Government Constituency Development Fund. And it is shocking because majority of the people that we have been able to take to school is because of this fund, Madam Speaker. You realize that there are those students who perform very well, but they have no way to enter a classroom door. But because of the National Government Constitutional Development Fund, we have been able to give bursaries to millions and millions of Kenyans. Many students, many children have been able to see the door of a high school or maybe university because of the NGCDF. Therefore, when it comes to that matter, we will all join hands together and support National Government Fund, because it has nothing to do with a member of Parliament, but it has everything to do with a Kenyan who is poor, who is at that lower moment. Right now, the messages we have received, people asking us, is it possible for us to get bursary? And yet we are yet to form the committees, and we are waiting to form the committee so that we can continue doing the great work we have been doing. In my constituency, Madam Speaker, we are renovating schools. We are building classrooms. You'll realize in a place like called Kawaida Primary School, you'll find that one classroom is hosting 120 students. And therefore, without NGCDF, there will be no way we can be able to expand these classrooms and to make sure that those students get better education by trying, to increase the classrooms within their schools. Therefore, Madam Speaker, The NGCDF, it is here to stay, and we are going to do all we can to support it, not because of our own interest, but because of the things that we have been able to do within our constituency. Madam Speaker, he also spoke about public-private partnership. You realize that, and he talked about water. In my constituency, in a place called Ruaka, which is very densely populated because of its developments, and many people are constructing apartments within Ruaka, which is within my constituency, that we don't have water. We have been chasing water since I became a member of parliament, with Earthy Water, with Ministry of water, but you realize that we have not been able to achieve because of funding. I believe public-private partnership will come in handy so that it can help us to bring water and to restore our water baskets within our constituency, and help us also to bring water to help our farmers and the members of our constituency so that we can be able to make their lives easier. So therefore, we are supporting when that agenda will be brought in the floor of the House. I'll be the first person to support it, because I know even if we are told to pay, we have so many people who can be able to pay the few coins that will be asked by the government, but at least at the end of the day, we'll make sure our homes, we have tap water within our homes. He also spoke about housing projects, and we are willing and ready to support the housing project. The legislative agenda that will be brought in this floor of the House, we are going to support it, because we really need this kind of development and technology, because when we have some villages in my area called Dendero, a place called Kefarage, this is the only way that we can be able to give them a decent home, not because they have a very small area, but the moment we decide to go vertically and maybe probably give them a decent housing, we'll be able to, improve their lives and give them a better place to take care of their children. Madam Speaker, allow me also to mention something that the President mentioned about the saving culture. He mentioned and he said that from when you are 18 on, when you are employed, to the time that you retire, you only save 200 shillings in every month. And at the end of the whole period that you have been working, you are able to save about 74,000 shillings. I think it is high time that we rethink this model. And he said that in every 2 shillings, that every member of your community, because now we have to regroup our people, especially those people who are in the informal sector, and make sure that they save their 2 shillings, so that the moment they save a 2 shillings, the government will rematch their 2 shillings with 1 shillings, so that at the end of the month, we can be able to see how much we save, and so that we can also be able to help our people to save more. So therefore, Madam Speaker, I support the President's speech, and we are here to support the President's agenda. And when we bring all these issues for us to register it, we promise that we are going to support him fully. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Kirinyaga County, and you'll be followed by member for Mandera East.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I am grateful to be here in this House, and this being my first time, I would like to give my maiden speech. I am Jane Jerry Maina, the County MP, Kirinyaga County. La kwanza ni kuwashukuru wana Kirinyaga kwa heshima walionipa kuniteua kama mbunge wao. I commit to serve diligently for the next 5 years. Well, I believe you were directed to give us leeway to learn.
Member for Kirinyaga, if you start in Kiswahili, according to the standing orders, then you will speak in Swahili for the whole time. But if you start with English, then you will follow through with English. Thank you. For the purposes of the record of the Hansard.
Very well. Admittedly, I profoundly miss breaking into dance with my constituents, from which they gave me an affectionate moniker, quote, Gasheri Gaito. To the young people of this nation, you have a role to play in the socio, political, and economic empowerment of this nation But you must no longer stay in the shadows. You must step forward and take charge. For power, they say, is taken, it is not given. To my father, tragically taken from me before the elections, before he could see that this child indeed became great, your name shall echo beyond the halls of Parliament. To my family, my best friend Andrew, who was there every day after I lost my father at the height of the campaigns, you are an invaluable addition in my life. Madam Speaker, it would be a disservice if I do not forewarn my colleagues that where I come from, we milk lions while seated on porcupines. Madam Speaker, as pertains the President's speech, it gave hope to a bedridden nation. It was short and succinct. Of great importance was the rollout of the subsidized fertilizer, as my people are farmers. It therefore deeply concerns me that there are some farmers in Moya and across Kirinyaga who are unable to access the fertilizer merely because they do not own land. I implore upon the relevant authority to ensure that all farmers, landlords or not, enjoy the subsidized fertilizer. Moreover, I implore upon the 13th Parliament and the executive to cater for the young people of this nation. We must address the pressing needs of our young people: unemployment, mental health, drug and substance abuse. The future must be secured by all means necessary. I wish to congratulate the President and his deputy for having shown the goodwill to engage, mentor, and consult young leaders, culminating to the signing of the Youth Charter. I assure them that the young people will hold them accountable to their promises. I further want to thank the President for taking the bold step to ensure that we no longer have subsidies. It would have been the easier way, having come from campaigns where we promised our people that we will lower the cost of living. Madam Speaker, lastly, I want to give thanks to Almighty God for seeing it fit to have me in this house. I will commit to serve diligently, and I pray that my colleagues in the 5 years, you're able to ensure that as new members are able to learn from you who have walked before us. May God bless the 13th Parliament. May God bless this nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Member for Kirinyaga County. That was brief and concise, and in fact donated 5 minutes. I think she needs an applause for that. And also a very amazing speech. Now it's time for Member for Mandera East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. May I take this opportunity first and foremost to thank the people of Mandera East for electing me and having faith in me. I thank the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me health and this opportunity to be in this August House. May I take also this opportunity to congratulate you and the Speaker of this Honorable House. I come from the farthest place from these parliamentary premises, and that is Mandera. I come from border point 1, where Kenya's first beacon is. Mandera has a lot of problems, including insecurity, poor roads, and lack of essential commodities. This is a place where we lost 2 senior chiefs and 2 assistant chiefs within a span of few months through terror activities. 2 chiefs were killed in Arabia Mandera Road. The 2 senior chiefs of Arabia and Umar Jilo were killed by Al-Shabaab just few months before the election. And their two assistant chiefs were also killed just few months before the election also. This is as a result of the poor roads in Mandera. In 21st century, we have no tarmac road in Mandera East other than Mandera town, which was really started after devolution. That has really eased and helped the terror team to plant IEDs on the road. When we were campaigning, we could not move freely for fear of these IEDs. You can be easily blown anytime. Sometimes we were forced to use helicopters to campaign within our constituency. I therefore request this honorable house to assist us in pushing the government to tarmac the roads from Lefe, Arabia, Mandera Road, and the road Ramu, Mandera, and the road from Ramu, Kalalio, Mandera Road. Biggest possible, because one life is more expensive than billions of shillings that can be used, to build those roads. In Mandera, we normally have KBRs, that is Kenya Police Reserves, and MPRs, National Police Reserves, who normally man our borders in addition to our gallant forces. These KBRs and MPRs are extremely poorly paid. The tune of thousand shillings. You can imagine